My daughter rejected my invitation to her wedding because she thought I was a poor loser. "You'll ruin the vibe," she said, laughing. But when she saw my new $200,000 Mercedes, she called me in a panic. "Come on, Dad. I was kidding," I smiled. Betrayal hurts, but justice is sweeter. I prepared a surprise that would turn her happiness upside down. Before I continue, please subscribe to the channel and write in the comments what time it is where you are right now. The sauce for the spaghetti was bubbling on the stove, filling my downtown apartment with the scent of tomatoes and basil. I stirred it slowly, watching the wooden spoon create lazy circles through the thick red mixture. My phone vibrated against the granite countertop. Unknown number. An out-of-state area code. I hesitated. 3 years of silence had taught me not to hope. But something made me answer. "Hello?" "Hi, Dad." The voice hit me like ice water. Valerie. My daughter's tone dripped with an artificial sweetness, the kind she had perfected during her teenage years when she wanted something expensive. My grip tightened on the wooden spoon. The sauce splattered onto the stove, sizzling against the hot surface. "Valerie, guess what? I'm getting married." She didn't wait for my response. "To Patrick Montgomery?" "Yes, Dad." That Montgomery family. The industrial dynasty. The spoon felt heavy in my hand. Through the kitchen window, the Chicago skyline glowed in the sunset, the tallest downtown tower standing erect like a beacon against the darkening sky. "That's... congratulations. I knew you'd be thrilled." Her laugh was sharp, brittle. "Anyway, I'm calling to tell you about my wedding, not to invite you." The sauce continued its steady bubbling. I watched a particularly large bubble form and pop, leaving a small crater that slowly refilled. My voice remained steady. "I see. Oh, don't play hurt." What would people think seeing my father in his clearance rack clothes standing next to the Montgomerys? Their friends own half of the Gold Coast. You still rent a one-bedroom apartment in a modest neighborhood. Every word landed precisely where she intended. My free hand gripped the edge of the countertop until my knuckles turned white. Outside, a jet traced its route toward the airport, its lights flashing steadily through the sunset. The ceremony is at their mansion. 500 guests, senators, CEOs, people who matter. She paused, letting that sink in. "You understand, right? The guests will be of a certain caliber. And you? Well, you're still the same." The wooden spoon clattered against the side of the pot. "Fine, be happy, Dad. I'm not finished." I hung up. The phone screen went dark, reflecting my image back to me. Tired eyes, graying temples, jaw clenched tight enough to hurt. The smoke alarm shrieked. While I was frozen in place, the sauce had transitioned from dinner to a charred mess. Black smoke curled toward the ceiling. I mechanically turned off the burner. I carried the ruined pot to the sink and dumped everything down the disposal. Standing there, watching the dark red sludge disappear down the drain, an uninvited memory surfaced. Valerie at 12, a flower tucked into her dark hair, laughing as we made this same recipe together. "Daddy, did I put in too much garlic?" She had giggled, her eyes bright with mischief. Now it's vampire-proof pasta. We had eaten it anyway, both pretending it wasn't overpowering, sharing secret smiles across the table. "Daddy, you're the best cook in the world," she had told me then, hugging me with sauce-stained hands. The contrast settled in my chest like a stone. I walked to the window, my reflection superimposing itself over the city lights. The dome of the state capitol building gleamed in the distance, a reminder of the government contracts that had kept my engineering firm afloat during the lean years. Below, my neighbor's Mercedes shone under the parking lot lights. A car worth more than I had earned in the last 2 years combined. The irony was not lost on me. My phone lit up with a text notification. The screen's glare seemed too bright in the darkening apartment. I stood there. I saw a sauce-splattered shirt cooling against my skin, watching that small rectangle of light pulse against the countertop. The message was from my sister, who lives in another state. She attached an old photo of Valerie's high school graduation. Her simple message, "Have you heard from Valerie lately?" That single question cracked something open. I put the phone down on the countertop and walked to my home office, each step feeling heavier than the last. The hallway seemed longer tonight. Family photos on the walls, watching my progress like silent witnesses. The memory hit me without warning, transporting me back to March of 2022. A different apartment then, smaller, in the River North area. Valerie dragging 2 designer suitcases toward the door. Gifts from her latest boyfriend, some tech executive who had already moved on to someone younger. I'm sick of living like this. She gestured with disgust at the cluttered living room. Look at you, Dad. You're 55 and still renting. You're still driving that old car. You're still shopping at thrift stores. I tried to stay calm, stepping between her and the door. Valerie, please, let's talk about this. Talk. Her laugh was cruel, nothing like the girl who had once made vampire-proof pasta. I'm done talking. I'm going to find a man who can actually provide. Someone successful, not a washout who peaked in college. Mom wouldn't want. Don't you dare. Her voice turned venomous. Mom died because she gave up. Just like you gave up. Content with mediocrity, with just getting by. Well, I'm not her. And I am definitely not you. The words had left me breathless. Isabel had fought cancer for 3 years before it won. She fought with everything she had. I'm starting over. Valerie had continued, dragging her suitcases past me. Don't call me, don't text me. Don't show up at my job. I'm sick of your poverty dragging me down. The door had slammed so hard, it knocked our family portrait off the wall. Glass shattered across the floor. My hands trembled as I picked up the pieces, Isabel's smile shining up at me through the spiderweb of cracks. That was the beginning of my reconciliation attempts. 47 unanswered calls over 3 years. I had counted every one. Birthday cards returned unopened. Refused stamped across them in red ink. Blocked on every social media platform. The worst was when I drove to the city where she lived 6 months later. I waited outside the downtown office building. Security had escorted me out before she even came downstairs, warning me about trespassing charges if I returned. Each rejection hurt less than the last, like nerve endings that finally go numb. Back in the present, I found myself in my office, looking at the desk photo from her college graduation. From the state university, both of us in our graduation gowns, her diploma held up triumphantly. My finger traced her smiling face across the glass. She was so proud that day. We were proud together. My laptop pinged. An email notification popped up in the corner. Matt Rojas, my partner. The subject preview said, "Urgent Japanese delegation." But I couldn't focus on it yet, not with the ghosts still dancing around the room. The smell of burnt sauce had followed me in here, clinging to my clothes. My small apartment felt smaller tonight, the walls pressing in. Outside, the distant music of the streets drifted up. The perpetual party of Chicago continued without me. Through the window, the city stretched in all directions, towers rising where houses used to be, the city transforming faster than I could keep pace. I looked back at the graduation photo, then at the empty spaces on my shelf, where other family pictures used to live, removed one by one as it became too painful to see them daily. The laptop pinged again. Matt's name flashed insistently in my inbox. I forced myself to click on Matt's email. The subject line expanded. Urgent Japanese delegation confirmed. Tomorrow, 9 a.m. The shift from personal agony to professional focus was like changing channels in my brain, a practiced survival mechanism I had perfected over 3 solitary years. My shoulders straightened as I read. The Yamamoto Corporation had agreed to review our revolutionary battery storage system. Technical specifications filled my screen. Complex algorithms I had spent 3 years perfecting. Efficiencies that would change renewable energy forever. My fingers moved across the keyboard, opening presentations, double-checking calculations one last time. Matt's text message vibrated. They're interested, Arthur. Really interested. The lawyers say if they sign, we're looking at a minimum of $50 million after expenses. Each. A smile pulled at my mouth, small but genuine. The first since Valerie's call had shattered my evening. Strange. Here I was, 12 hours away from potentially closing the biggest deal of my career, wearing a sauce-stained shirt in a modest apartment my daughter was ashamed of. The contrast was almost funny. Almost. I moved to the kitchen, mechanically scrubbing the burned pot. Each circular motion became meditation. Steel wool against charred sauce, removing layers of failure. The ruined dinner went into the trash with a wet thud. Old expectations discarded along with burned tomatoes. My closet held 3 suits. The best one, navy from a department store, hung in its dry cleaner bag. I laid it out on my bed, smoothing invisible wrinkles from my dresser drawer. I retrieved my father's cufflinks, sterling silver with his initials. AJC Arthur James Carter. The only valuable thing he had left me. 3 generations of Arthur Carter. And the line would end with me. The ironing board squeaked as I set it up. Each pass of the iron was deliberate, creating sharp creases in the pants, perfect lines in the shirt. This was control. This was something I could perfect. In the bathroom mirror, I studied my reflection, not the failure Valerie described. An inventor who had sacrificed weekends, holidays, relationships to pursue a dream of sustainable energy. A man who had paid for his daughter's private schools and her college education, working 3 contracts simultaneously, whose wife's medical bills had drained every savings account, every investment, every safety net. What would Valerie say if she knew about tomorrow? The question slipped out before I could stop it, but I already knew. She would probably claim she always believed in me. That family was everything. That she had been waiting for the right moment to reconcile. Money had a way of healing cracks, superficially, at least. No, I told my reflection firmly. That chapter is closed. Back at my laptop, I reviewed the final contracts. The Japanese consortium's terms were clear. Full patent licensing, manufacturing rights for Asia, royalties that would generate wealth for decades. My phone read 11:47 p.m. Tomorrow would come soon enough. I walked past Valerie's old room, now my secondary office. I paused briefly in the doorway, remembering her at 16, studying for the college entrance exam at the desk I had built from scratch. She had scored a perfect score on the math section. "Dad, you taught me to think like an engineer," she had said then. The kitchen clock ticked steadily, counting seconds, minutes, hours, down. My neighbor's party had grown louder, laughter and music spilling into the night. Life continuing its rhythm while mine prepared to change course. I set my alarm for 5 a.m. I placed my phone face down on the nightstand. The empty space on the other nightstand seemed larger tonight. Where Isabel's photo used to be, where Valerie's childhood drawings once piled up. Looking at my simple digital clock, the numbers glowed. 12:03 a.m. Technically tomorrow, the day everything would change. but the pain of tonight still weighed on my chest, a weight that $50 million wouldn't lift. The sheets felt cool as I climbed into bed. Outside, the city hummed its midnight song, sirens, music, the distant drone of the main highway. Tomorrow, the Japanese delegation would see my work. They would understand its value. Tonight, however, I was still the man my daughter was ashamed of. I woke up at 5 a.m. The alarm hadn't been necessary. My body knew today mattered more than any day in the last 3 years. Steam filled the bathroom as I shaved with an engineer's precision. Each stroke calculated, methodical. The department store suit fit perfectly, my father's cufflinks catching the morning light as I fastened them. My phone screen showed nothing from Valerie. I expected it, but the absence still registered. Mrs. Morales from 4B was picking up her newspaper as I stepped into the hall. Big day today, Arthur. She had lived here 15 years. She had watched me go from family man to whatever I was now. Something like that, Mrs. Morales. The elevator descended to the underground garage, fluorescent lights flickering over the concrete walls. I walked past the usual collection of Toyotas and Hondas, my footsteps echoing. Around the corner, in the reserved section I had started paying for 6 months ago, waited the Maybach S680. It seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Obsidian black. Chrome accents precise as surgical instruments. I ran my hand over the hood, remembering when $10 for gas meant skipping lunch. The leather seats exhaled softly as I settled in. That particular scent of wealth I still wasn't used to. Julian, the building concierge who had started 6 months ago, fresh out of college, still eager, was arranging packages as I walked through the lobby. "Good morning, Mr. Carter. Your Maybach is spotless, as always." "Mr. Carter." The title still felt like wearing someone else's clothes. "Thank you, Julian. The valet mentioned you had it detailed yesterday. Special occasion? Just a meeting?" I kept walking, the marble floor reflecting the morning light streaming in through the floor-to-ceiling windows. The Los Angeles streets told 2 stories as I drove. The Maybach glided past my old bus stop in the River North area, where I had waited in the rain 3 years ago. Laptop bag wrapped in plastic. At the red light on the main avenue, a city bus pulled up alongside. Through its windows, tired faces stared straight ahead. The expression I had worn for decades. The radio was talking about the city's tech boom, wealth inequality, gentrification. I turned it off. Silence was better company for the 15-minute drive downtown. The Pacific Ocean glinted in the distance as I took the highway, the morning sun painting everything gold. October of 2022. That's when everything changed. Though no one knew it yet, Matt and I in my garage-turned-lab at 2 a.m., surrounded by failed prototypes and empty coffee cups. The breakthrough came suddenly, a configuration no one had tried because it seemed too simple. We ran the test 5 times, not believing the efficiency numbers. "Arthur, this is it. It's really it," Matt had whispered, as if speaking too loudly might break the spell. The first investor meeting was painful. 5 venture capitalists in a downtown conference room, barely hiding their sneers at the older guy with the garage startup. Then, we ran the demo. The sneers vanished. The bidding war started before we had finished packing up. We chose strategic partners over the highest bidder. A decision that paid off when the government contracts started flowing. Carter Energy Solutions occupied the top 3 floors of the city's tallest tower. Now, the valet took my keys with the reverence reserved for vehicles worth more than houses. Through the marble lobby, employees nodded. That careful distance between respect and familiarity. No one knew about Valerie, about the years before. The executive elevator rose smoothly, the city shrinking below. 20 minutes until the Japanese delegation arrived. Enough time for... The doors opened. Matt was there, tablet in hand, his expression making my stomach drop. "Arthur, you need to see this before the Japanese get here." The tablet screen glowed between us, but he hadn't shown it to me yet. The 4 days since the Japanese deal signing had been a blur of lawyers and accountants, paperwork that transformed theoretical millions into real ones. I sat at my desk, finally having a quiet moment, looking at the framed first dollar our company had earned. Matt's idea, cheesy but meaningful. Matt walked in without knocking, our friendship transcending office protocol. His face held that expression I had learned to dread. The one that meant personal drama was about to intrude on professional success. "You need to see what your daughter posted." He held out his tablet, Instagram already loaded. Valerie Lux Life. Even her username made me wince. The engagement party photos were professional. The columns of the Montgomery mansion and manicured lawns serving as the backdrop. Valerie, in a white dress that probably cost more than most people's monthly rent. Patrick beside her in a tuxedo that screamed old money. Her caption read, "Some people stay small while others of us achieve greatness." Belonging, where it matters. Montgomery life. Leveling up. "Keep scrolling," Matt said quietly. The comment section was a master class in subtle cruelty. Someone had asked innocently, "Is your dad coming to the wedding? Family is everything." Valerie's public reply twisted the knife. Why would I invite someone who never achieved anything? It's about surrounding ourselves with success. Then Matt scrolled to the next screenshot. The city's Business Weekly had posted a photo from yesterday. Me standing next to the Maybach after the Japanese signing. The headline read, "Carter Energy Solutions secures $100 million deal." Local CEO Arthur Carter celebrates landmark deal with Japanese consortium. They had tagged her. The comments exploded. A friend of Valerie's. "Wait, this is your dad? The energy company guy?" Another girl. "Your dad drives a Maybach?" Someone else. Carter Energy Solutions was just valued at $500 million. Matt showed me Valerie's profile in real time. "Watch this." The insulting comments were disappearing one by one. Her fingers must have been flying across her phone screen. Then a new post appeared. "So proud of my amazing daddy's success. Family business is everything. Can't wait to celebrate together." "She's been calling you for the last hour," Matt said, pointing to my silenced phone. 17 missed calls. As I watched, the 18th came in. "Don't answer," Matt advised. "Let her sweat." "No." I picked up the phone. "I want to hear this." "Daddy?" Valerie's voice was an octave higher than usual, dripping manufactured sweetness. "Oh my God. I just saw the news about your company. This is incredible." Silence from my end. "I am so sorry about the other day. Wedding planning is just so stressful, you know." I didn't mean any of it. Still nothing from me. "You know my sense of humor, Dad. I was kidding. Obviously, you're invited to the wedding. Of course you're invited. You're my only family." The transformation was remarkable. From Ice Queen to devoted daughter in less than 30 seconds. "Patrick is dying to meet you. He loves successful businessmen. Says we could really use someone with your expertise in the family. Maybe we could discuss some family investments. The Montgomery's portfolio could use some tech diversity." There it was. The ask. The wedding is July 15th at the luxury downtown hotel. Black tie, of course. You'll sit at the family table. The Montgomerys will be so impressed. "Send me the details," I said, my voice neutral as water. "You're coming? Really?" Relief flooded the phone. "I'll be there. Daddy, this means everything. We have so much to catch up on. Maybe dinner next week, the three of us?" Patrick knows this amazing place in the rich neighborhood. Send the details, I repeated. Then I hung up. Matt was shaking his head. Arthur, you know she just wants your money. She's being so obvious about it. He continued pacing now. This is pure manipulation. I stood by the window, the city spreading out below. The river snaked through downtown like a serpent, dividing the old city from the new. I know exactly what she wants. Then why? She's going to get exactly what she deserves. Matt stopped pacing. He knew that tone. My engineer's voice, the one that meant I was solving a problem, working through variables toward an inevitable solution. I opened my laptop, fingers hovering over the keyboard. Then I typed. Private investigators, Los Angeles. Discreet corporate background checks. The search results popped up immediately. The third one on the list. Guerrero Investigations. Premium discreet services, ex-federal agents, corporate intelligence. My cursor paused over the link. 5 days after Valerie's call. I was sitting in a nondescript office building on a busy avenue. The kind of place you'd drive past 1,000 times without noticing. Perfect for Javier Guerrero's work. Guerrero himself was exactly what you'd expect from a former federal agent. Graying temples, eagle eyes that missed nothing. Compact build that suggested he could still handle himself despite being over 50. His office was minimal. One family photo, a few commendations on the wall, a coffee maker that had seen better decades. You want dirt on your own daughter? He didn't judge, just clarified. I want the truth. Guerrero nodded, his fingers already moving across his laptop. Timeline? The wedding is July 15th. Plenty of time. I'll need names. Social media handles. Known associates. I provided everything, speaking without emotion, as if listing technical specifications. Guerrero took notes in a physical notebook. Old school, no digital trace. 3 weeks passed in a careful routine. I ran the company, attended meetings, signed contracts worth millions, all while Guerrero worked in the shadows. We met weekly, never in the same place. Once a coffee shop on South Avenue, once a bench in the main park, once a food stand on the street of bars. The constant movement of the city providing the perfect cover. At each meeting, Guerrero's folder grew thicker. Financial records, social media analysis, credit reports. The picture that formed was exactly what I had suspected, but worse. On April 15th, tax day, appropriately, we sat at opposite ends of a bench in the main park. Spring wildflowers blooming all around us, families playing frisbee in the distance. Guerrero's folder was massive now. Your daughter and her fiancé are approximately $200,000 in combined debt. He flipped through documents, each page a testament to financial irresponsibility. Maxed out credit cards on 12 accounts. Personal loans from 3 institutions. Car loans they can barely afford the insurance on. The Montgomery family stopped funding Patrick 2 years ago. His mother, Eleanor, is keeping up appearances, keeping him on the charity circuit. But there's no money. The family fortune is tied up in trusts he can't access until he's 40. And only then, if he meets certain conditions. Stable marriage, legitimate heir, board approval, standard old money stuff. Guerrero showed me screenshots of Valerie's messages to her bridesmaids. Dad's company is worth hundreds of millions. He'll pay for everything. You should see his car. Then Patrick's email to his mother. Arthur Carter will invest. The energy sector connections alone are worth millions. Problem solved, Mother. The wedding venue alone costs $75,000. Guerrero continued. They put down a $5,000 deposit they borrowed from a friend. They've been telling all the vendors the bride's father will cover everything. I studied every document methodically, engineer's eyes catching patterns, inconsistencies, lies built upon lies, not angry. Disappointment had replaced anger months ago. This was just data now, Inputs for an equation. "What do you want to do with this?" Guerrero asked. "Nothing yet. Keep monitoring." I paid his fee in cash, a thick envelope disappearing into his jacket. We walked in separate directions, two strangers who had shared a bench on a beautiful spring day. Back at the office, Matt was waiting in the conference room. I drew on the whiteboard. "Operation Wedding Gift?" "Dramatic," Matt observed. "Accurate." We spent 3 hours planning. Phase 1, reconnaissance, Guerrero's investigation ongoing. Phase 2, documentation, wedding preparations, financial records. Phase 3, execution, the wedding itself. "You could just not go," Matt suggested for the 100th time. "She needs to learn. They all do." "Arthur, vengeance fantasies are one thing. This isn't fantasy, this is education." Matt studied me, recognizing the engineer at work again. "You're going to play along completely. Let them think they've won. Let them plan their manipulation. And then they'll get exactly what they asked for." My phone vibrated. Text message from Valerie. "Dad, can we meet for lunch next week? I need to discuss wedding details and our future as a family. I love you." The words, "I love you," stood on the screen like foreign objects. 3 years of silence. Then sudden love when millions appeared. I replied, "Of course, sweetie." I named the place. Then I opened Guerrero's latest report. More debt uncovered, more lies documented, more evidence that my daughter had become someone I didn't recognize. Or maybe she had always been someone I had refused to see clearly. The sun was setting over the city, painting the conference room orange and gold. Matt had gone home. I sat alone with my plans, my evidence, my quiet certainty that July 15th would be educational for all involved. My phone vibrated again. Valerie sending restaurant suggestions. Each one more expensive than the last. I smiled. Not the bitter smile of the past few days, but something colder, more precise. An engineer's smile. The solution to the equation was becoming clear. 2 weeks passed before our reunion lunch, May 3rd. I spent them running the company as usual, Matt watching me with concern as Guerrero's daily updates documented Valerie's accelerating spending. Designer clothes, spa treatments, all on credit cards nearing their limits. The upscale seafood restaurant stood like a temple to excess. In the downtown dining district, Valerie had chosen it. Naturally, valet parking, white tablecloths, the kind of place where they don't print prices on the menu. If you have to ask. She walked in 20 minutes late. Wearing what Guerrero had informed me was a $3,000 designer dress, purchased 2 days ago on a nearly maxed out card. Her arms wrapped around me before I could properly stand. "Daddy," the word echoed across the restaurant. Other diners looked over, seeing what she wanted them to see. A devoted daughter reuniting with her successful father. The performance continued through the appetizers. She ordered the lobster bisque, the oyster sampler, talking about her simple tastes while selecting the most expensive items. Her wedding ring caught the light with every gesture. 2 carats, purchased with a loan from Patrick's gambling buddy, Guerrero had discovered. "Family ties are forever," she said, reaching out to squeeze my hand. "These last few years I was just so silly, young. You understand, right?" Her transition to the money talk was seamless, like watching a practiced pianist change keys. The Montgomerys expect certain standards, not flashy, just appropriate. You know how old families are. "I can imagine," I said, cutting into my fish. "The venue needs a larger deposit. These historic places are so particular about timelines." She laughed, bright and false. "Only $30,000. But it has to be paid next week or we lose the date. It's a sizable sum." Something flickered behind her eyes. Frustration quickly masked. Fresh tears appeared, perfectly timed. I just want my daddy there, walking me down the aisle. Isn't that what fathers dream of? Let me think about it. The mask slipped for a heartbeat. Her jaw tightened, knuckles white around her champagne flute. Then the sweet smile returned. Of course, Daddy. Take all the time you need. The next week brought the full assault. Daily texts with photos of the venue, each message designed to increase pressure. May 5th. The gardens are so gorgeous in July. May 6th. Patrick's family is inviting senators. Imagine the networking opportunities for your company. By May 8th, desperation crept in. The Montgomery's friends are watching everything. If we can't afford proper flowers, they'll think you aren't really successful. May 9th revealed her true fears. Patrick's mom is testing if you're really rich. She's one of those. I replied to everything with calculated vagueness. Interesting. I'll consider it. We'll see. Matt helped me record every call, document every text. The drive to the other city, May 15th, took 3 hours. The Maybach's adaptive cruise control handled the highway traffic as I listened to Valerie's latest voicemails, each one more frantic than the last. The rich neighborhood's country club sprawled like old money made manifest. Oak trees older than the state itself, lawns that cost more to maintain than most people's salaries. Patrick had chosen it, wanting to impress. Guerrero's research showed he hadn't been a member for 2 years, but was using his family name for access. Patrick entered the dining room with studied casualness. Impeccable designer suit, firm, assessing handshake. He had his mother's eyes, cold, calculating. Arthur, I finally get to meet the man behind the success story. His smile never reached those eyes. Valerie has told me all about Carter Energy Solutions. Everything she had learned from Google, more likely. His pitch unfolded over lunch, polished but desperate underneath. The synergy between energy innovation and traditional oil infrastructure. That's the future. The Montgomery name opens doors your technology needs. Interesting perspective, I offered, giving him nothing. He tried another angle. That Maybach, the S680, must have set you back, what, $200,000? Beautiful machine. It serves its purpose. Valerie and Patrick exchanged looks when I wouldn't discuss specific numbers. She jumped in, steering the conversation toward wedding planning. But Patrick couldn't resist one more attempt. Valerie mentioned you're ready to invest in our future together. The words hung between us. I took a slow sip of water. We'll discuss everything at the wedding. The call on May 20th came at 8 p.m., both of them on speaker, their final play. Dad, we have to be honest about something. Valerie's voice had lost its sweetness. Just a small financial hiccup, Patrick quickly added. Temporary. $150,000 would cover the wedding and the honeymoon. Consider it an investment in your daughter's happiness. We'll pay you back once my trust fund is released, Patrick lied smoothly. Guerrero had confirmed the trust's conditions. No access until 40 and only with board approval. That's substantial. I kept my voice level. I'll need to review my liquidity. The wedding is in 2 months, Dad. Valerie's voice turned arctic. We'll discuss it at the wedding. Their frustrated breathing filled the speaker before they managed forced goodbyes. I immediately dialed a number I had been researching. Leo, this is Arthur Carter. I have a special request for a wedding DJ job in July. How do you feel about unusual playlist requests? June arrived with summer heat and my resolve crystallizing into action. My home office had transformed into what Matt called the war room. Multiple monitors displaying financial records. A timeline of Valerie's lies mapped out on the wall with red string connecting screenshots, receipts, and Guerrero's surveillance photos. Matt arrived with coffee and his perpetual concern. "Looks like you're planning an invasion." "Just a wedding gift." Sophia Mendez. The video editor Matt had recommended arrived at noon. She was young, maybe 30, with purple streaks in her hair and an expression that suggested she had seen everything. Matt had vouched for her discretion, and she had signed a non-disclosure agreement without asking questions. "This is intense," she said. Reviewing the materials I had gathered, Guerrero's photos showed Valerie and Patrick shopping with credit cards, dining at restaurants they couldn't afford. The screenshots revealed Valerie's posts scoffing at pathetic old men who still work at 60. The centerpiece was Patrick's email to potential investors promising access to the Carter millions once he married. "Just present the facts," I instructed her. "No editorializing." Sophia worked for 3 days creating what she called the wildest wedding video ever. It started sweetly. Baby photos of Valerie, her first steps, kindergarten graduation, then the turn, her abandonment, the cruel words, the attempted financial exploitation, every lie documented, every manipulation exposed. "This is brutal," Sophia said during the final review. "Are you sure about this?" "The truth isn't brutal. It's necessary." The video ran for 12 minutes, a life story that became a cautionary tale, ending with current debt statements and the recorded phone calls asking for money. Leo Martinez operated out of a converted warehouse in the industrial zone, the kind of place where musicians came to record demos and DJs stored equipment for the city's endless festival circuit. A young guy, maybe 28, with the confidence that came from spinning sets at the big festivals. "Mr. Carter," he greeted me on June 8th. His studio walls lined with mixing boards and speakers worth more than cars. "You're the CEO of the energy company. My mom loves what you're doing for renewable power. I need discretion more than admiration." His demeanor shifted. Professional now. "Talk to me." "You're hired for the Montgomery Carter wedding. July 15th, luxury hotel in the other city." "Yeah, good gig. They're paying, well, supposedly paying well." "I need you to play a video during the reception, during what would typically be the father's speech moment." Leo's eyes narrowed. This sounds like drama. It's a father's wedding gift. Nothing illegal, nothing violent, just the truth. "How much truth are we talking about?" $5,000? Cash. In addition to whatever they're supposedly paying you. He whistled low. "That's serious real money." I showed him the booking confirmation Valerie had sent me. His name clearly on the list. He studied it. Then me, weighing the risks versus the reward. "The video will be on a USB drive. Plug and play. 12 minutes. During the father's speech slot?" "Exactly. I'll give you the cue." Leo leaned back in his chair, fingers drumming against the armrest. "For $5,000, I'll play your grocery list if you want." The next few days were technical preparation. The video file was compressed and tested on different systems. PCs, Macs, professional DJ equipment. Matt suggested we test it on the actual luxury hotel system. But that was too risky. "What if the equipment fails?" Matt asked during our planning session on June 12th. "Plan B?" I showed him the portable projector I had purchased, small enough to fit in a briefcase, battery-powered, preloaded with the video. "You've thought of everything." "Engineers plan for failure points." The gift box was Matt's idea. Gold wrapping paper, elegant white ribbon, the USB drive cradled inside like a jewel. A father's wedding gift that would change everything. June 15th brought another call from Valerie, her voice syrupy with fake affection. "Dad, about your wedding gift. I have something special planned." "Oh." A pause. "Well, Cash is always the most practical for newlyweds. I think you'll find my gift memorable. Her suspicious silence dragged on before the forced enthusiasm kicked in. I can't wait. The designer suit arrived on June 16th, Matt's insistence. If you're going to destroy them, look impeccable doing it. Navy with subtle pinstripes, perfectly tailored, not flashy, just undeniably expensive. I wrote a check for $1,000, the decoy gift. Enough to seem reasonable, not enough to satisfy their greed. The real gift weighed nothing, but would cost them everything. Matt and I did a final review. The evening of June 20th, the video played on his laptop. 12 minutes of documented truth. No turning back after this, he said quietly. There never was. She made that decision 3 years ago. My phone vibrated. Text message from an unknown number in the other city. Mr. Carter, this is Eleanor Montgomery. I understand we are to be family soon. I would like to meet before the wedding. Are you available June 28th? I looked at the message. The Queen requesting an audience. Another player entering the game. The drive to the other city on June 28th felt different. I was entering enemy territory. Eleanor Montgomery had chosen the battlefield. Her mansion in the Greenwich neighborhood. 20,000 square feet of old money made manifest. The GPS guided me through streets where the houses grew progressively larger, the lawns more manicured, until I reached wrought iron gates that belonged on a European estate. Her butler, German, answered the door with the kind of professional assessment that suggested he had been measuring the worth of guests for decades. The foyer could have held my entire apartment, marble and crystal vying for attention. Eleanor made me wait 15 minutes in what she probably called the drawing room. A power move. I studied the oil paintings of severe Montgomery ancestors. Men who had pulled fortunes out of the ground when drilling was more guesswork than science. She entered like royalty. Cream designer suit. Pearls that probably cost more than most people's cars. Silver hair arranged in a style that required weekly maintenance at prices I didn't want to imagine. Her eyes were Patrick's, cold, calculating, measuring. Then she sat down without offering me anything to drink. You are Valerie's father. That pause before father carried the weight of judgment. Eleanor, I said. I didn't add pleased to meet you. We both knew pleasure had nothing to do with this. Your company has done quite well recently. She emphasized recently like an accusation. Energy solutions, right? Sounds rather vague. Battery storage systems for renewable energy. The technology is actually quite specific. How long has it been, she waved a manicured hand, successful? Success has many definitions. Her smile could have frozen vodka. Financial success. The only kind that matters when discussing my son's future. Interesting philosophy. She leaned forward slightly. Valerie mentioned you are helping with wedding expenses. She's mentioned many things, I'm sure. The Montgomerys have a certain reputation to maintain. Standards. I trust you understand that whoever joins our family must be able to contribute adequately. Your son seems to have his own financial situation well under control. Something flickered across her face. We both knew about Patrick's debts, his trust fund restrictions. This was poker, and she was checking her cards. I had you investigated, Mr. Carter. No pretense now. Guerrero Investigations does thorough work. Though I wonder why you would need him yourself. The air between us crystallized. She knew about Guerrero, which meant she knew I knew about the debts, the lies, everything. Due diligence, I said simply. She stood up. Our meeting was apparently over. I hope you are not planning anything inappropriate for the wedding. Only a father's gift to his daughter. Her eyes narrowed. Patrick is my only son, Mr. Carter. I protect what is mine. As do I. Valerie arrived then as if the tension had summoned her. Her panic at seeing us together was almost comical, eyes darting between us, calculating what might have been said. Mother Montgomery was just leaving, right? Her voice was sharp with stress. Eleanor's gaze could have stripped paint. We will continue this at the wedding, Mr. Carter. After she left, Valerie turned to me. What did she want? To size up my wallet, I suspect. The wedding is in 3 weeks, Dad. The vendors need payment, as you mentioned, daily. June 25th brought the most dramatic performance yet. Valerie called, sobbing. I could hear the forced tears, the practiced catches in her breath. Everything is falling apart. The florist wants $50,000 by tomorrow, or they cancel. The caterer is threatening to pull out. Dad, please. The wedding is in 3 weeks. Surely they can wait. That's exactly why they need payment now. It's industry standard. I'll call them directly. Arrange something. No. The panic was real now. I mean, that's not necessary. Just send the money. Please, Daddy. That word again, weaponized. I'll bring a check to the wedding. Silence, then, barely controlled. The wedding might not happen without immediate payment. Then we will sort everything out at the wedding. Everything. Patrick took the phone, his veneer cracking. Sir, this is genuinely urgent. My family's reputation. The wedding. Don't worry. The invitation to their apartment arrived June 28th. A final desperate attempt. The address Guerrero had provided was confirmed. A nice enough place in a trendy neighborhood, but nothing like the rich neighborhood mansion Patrick implied he owned. The apartment told the story Eleanor didn't want public. Expensive furniture mixed with obvious gaps where pieces had been sold. Past due notices on the kitchen counter, hastily covered with magazines as I walked in. Patrick was sweating through his shirt despite the aggressive air conditioning. Valerie's final manipulation was almost admirable in its audacity. She produced medical documents, some clinic letterhead about stress treatment. The doctor says I need to reduce anxiety. These wedding worries are affecting my health. The papers were probably real. The stress was clearly consuming both of them. I pulled out the $1,000 check. I placed it on their coffee table. Their faces fell like dropped masks. This is ridiculous, Patrick exploded. His composure finally shattered. We know you have millions. Valerie grabbed his arm, hissing something about patience. Her smile returned, brittle as winter ice. The rest at the wedding? Everything gets sorted at the wedding. The drive back to my city on June 30th was quiet. The video USB was in my pocket like a promise. Matt messaged confirmation. DJ Leo is set, equipment tested. Guerrero's final report arrived as I crossed the river. They borrowed another $10,000 from a loan shark. 30% interest rate. Desperate doesn't begin to describe it. 15 days until the truth. 15 days until my phone rang. Eleanor Montgomery. Mr. Carter, I've done some additional digging. We need to discuss what you are truly planning. I know you hired Guerrero. The line cut out before I could reply. Eleanor knew. The question was, what would she do about it? The 2 weeks since Eleanor's threatening call had passed in careful silence. No more texts from Valerie. No more desperate voicemails from Patrick. July 15th arrived with the humid New York sunrise. The air was already thick enough to swim in. I ate breakfast methodically. Eggs, toast, black coffee. While reviewing the video one last time on my laptop. 12 minutes. That would change everything. The USB drive lay next to my plate, as innocuous as a breath mint. The 3-hour drive to the other city passed in air-conditioned comfort. the Maybach gliding through the heat shimmers. The USB rested in the inner pocket of my jacket, its weight both negligible and enormous. I had checked it 5 times before leaving. Paranoid about corruption or failure. Engineers plan for contingencies, but vengeance only allows one shot. The luxury hotel towered over the downtown as a promise of opulence. The valet's eyes widened at the Maybach. Even here, it commanded respect. My reflection in the hotel's glass doors showed what I wanted. Expensive suit, calm expression, determined eyes, a successful father attending his daughter's wedding. Nothing more. Inside? The transformation was complete. The ballroom had been turned into a palace of white and gold. Orchids flown in from Hawaii. Crystal chandeliers multiplied by mirrors. Enough fabric to sail a ship. Guerrero's research said this display cost over $100,000. All unpaid. Guests arrived in waves of designer clothing and practiced smiles. Oil executives with their third wives, society matrons, clutching pearls worth more than houses, young businessmen hoping to network their way up. Several recognized me. Arthur Carter, the algorithm genius, didn't expect to see you here. Valerie never mentioned. That Japanese deal was brilliant. We should talk. Table 12 was in Siberia, far corner, partially hidden by a decorative screen. The insult was not subtle. Valerie wanted my money, not my presence. The other guests at my table were similar outsiders, poor relatives, plus ones who didn't belong, obligation invites. Matt appeared at my side, having walked in separately as planned. The DJ is set, equipment tested, your videos loaded. What if it fails? Backup projector in my car. We got this, Arthur. Eleanor Montgomery entered like winter arriving. Her gaze swept the room. It found me. It held for 3 seconds of pure ice. She knew something, but not everything. The uncertainty would be eating her alive. A feeling she wasn't used to. Valerie materialized in a cloud of white silk and desperation. The dress cost $30,000, according to Guerrero. Purchased on credit with promises of Daddy's payment. She floated toward me, camera trailing her, playing the devoted daughter. Daddy, you came. Her hug was theater. The perfume couldn't mask the sweat of fear underneath. Did you bring it? She whispered. The smile never wavered. I brought something special. A flash of concern crossed her features before the mask returned. She paraded me before her bridesmaids, each introduction a commercial for my success. This is my father. He owns Carter Energy Solutions. The renewable energy company, the one with the Japanese deal. Never. This is my dad. Always the money, the status, the utility. Patrick approached with his politician's handshake. All teeth and calculation. His tuxedo was designer, his confidence borrowed. Mr. Carter, so glad you could make it. Valerie says you have good news. The best news you'll see at the reception. His eyes lit up with greed. I'm looking forward to it. The ceremony unfolded with painful irony. Valerie promised honesty, devotion, partnership. Every word a lie wrapped in white satin. Patrick vowed to cherish and provide. While drowning in debt, he couldn't escape. The Montgomery family occupied the front rows like an occupying force, displaying a wealth most of them no longer possessed. My placement emphasized my status as an outsider. Last row, side aisle, barely visible. During the speak now or forever hold your peace, I allowed myself a small smile. Eleanor caught it, her eyes narrowing to slits. The kiss was performance. The applause was obligation. The recessional was victory. Valerie practically glowed as she passed. Now officially Mrs. Montgomery, one step closer to the money she thought was coming. Cocktail hour turned into a networking frenzy. My presence had been noted, my success Googled. Business cards appeared like magic tricks. That Tesla partnership must have been lucrative. We should discuss synergies. Your algorithm could revolutionize our operations. Valerie circled like a shark, monitoring my interactions, calculating the value of every connection. Patrick cornered me near the bar, his whiskey breath preceding him. About that investment discussion, Mr. Carter? Let's wait for my speech. Your speech? His eagerness was pitiful. You're going to speak? Wouldn't miss the opportunity. The wedding coordinator appeared. Clipboard clutched like a lifeline. Mr. Carter, we start the speeches in 10 minutes. The DJ has your presentation ready. Her tone suggested Leo had shared enough to worry her. Are you sure about the timing? I checked the USB one last time, though I knew Leo had already loaded it. Right after the best man. It's perfect. She nodded uncertainly, professionalism warring with instinct. If you're sure. I walked toward the ballroom, feeling the weight of the moment approaching. Behind me, the coordinator was talking urgently into her headset. She sensed the storm coming but couldn't name it. The doors opened. 200 guests settled into their seats. Showtime. The best man's toast had just ended with polite applause. Something generic about love conquering all. Friendship lasting forever. The master of ceremonies, a local radio personality Patrick knew, grabbed the mic with practiced enthusiasm. And now, the father of the bride would like to say a few words. Valerie's shock was genuine. She hadn't expected me to speak. She had deliberately not asked me to. I walked to the front, each step measured. As Leo took the USB with a subtle nod, Eleanor's attention sharpened to a knife's edge. She sensed the danger, but couldn't identify its source. Patrick looked eager, likely expecting a funding announcement. The guests settled with polite attention. My daughter, I began. My voice carried clearly, has taught me many lessons over the years. Valerie relaxed slightly, thinking this was heading towards sentimentality. 3 years ago, she taught me about ambition, about the drive to succeed, to reach higher, to never settle for less than you deserve. Nods from the audience. American dream stuff. Safe territory. She taught me that family means different things to different people. I let that hang in the air for a moment. Some see family as an obligation, others as an opportunity. Some uncertain smiles. The tone was shifting, but they couldn't place how. Today, I want to return the favor. Teach her something in return. I paused, meeting Valerie's eyes. I've prepared a visual presentation on our family's journey. Dad, Valerie half stood, her voice conveying warning. That's really not necessary. Oh, but it is. Education always is. Leo, please play the video. The lights dimmed. The screen descended. The projector sprang to life. Baby photos filled the screen. Valerie's first steps, kindergarten graduation, the science fair where she won first place. Guests smiled, made appropriate noises, normal wedding slideshow territory. Then the audio came in. Why would I invite my father who is broke? Valerie's recorded voice sliced through the ballroom like a scalpel. The on-screen image, her Instagram post, scoffing at pathetic old men. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Turn it off. Valerie lunged toward the DJ booth. This is fake. He's lying. But the video continued relentlessly. Text messages filled the screen. Dad's company is worth hundreds of millions. He'll pay for everything. I just need to manipulate him a little longer. The foolish old man probably thinks I actually care. Patrick's emails appeared next. Arthur Carter will invest. The energy sector connections alone are worth millions. Problem solved, Mother. Then the financial records. Credit card statements maxed out at $50,000. Personal loans from 3 companies. The wedding venue contract with only $5,000 paid on a $75,000 bill. This is slander. Eleanor stood up, her voice cutting through the chaos. Stop this immediately. I'll have him arrested. The video ignored her. Valerie's social media posts scrolled by. Some people stay small, while others of us achieve greatness. Every word dripping contempt for anyone without money. The climax arrived. A phone recording from 2 days ago. Valerie talking to her maid of honor. He is so pathetic. He really thinks I want him at the wedding. I just need his money. Once we get it, I never have to see him again. The final frame held for 10 seconds. Love shouldn't have a price tag. Truth shouldn't have an expiration date. Arthur Carter. The lights came up. Pandemonium. Phones appeared in every hand, recording the aftermath. The video would be viral within hours. Valerie was frozen. Designer makeup streaking down her face, mouth opening and closing soundlessly. I'll sue you! She finally found her voice, screaming at Leo. This is illegal. Everyone will go to jail. Patrick grabbed the microphone, his composure shattered. This is doctored. It's frame-ups. None of this is real. Eleanor's hand slapped Patrick's face hard enough to snap his head sideways. You told me his father was investing. You said the money was guaranteed. The slap echoed. Silence for a heartbeat. Then the explosion. Business partners got up to leave. Their disgust was evident. Society matrons whispered behind fans and programs. The gossip was too delicious to contain. Younger guests live-streamed the collapse, comments scrolling in real time. This is insane. The bride is a gold digger. The groom is broke. It's all fake. Best wedding ever. This is better than a reality show. Valerie turned toward me, her face a masterpiece of ruined expectations. How could you do this to me? I'm your daughter. I gave you exactly what you gave me. My voice remained level, quiet. Truth? The wedding coordinator tried to restore order, her voice cracking through the sound system. Ladies and gentlemen, please, if we could all... But half the guests were already leaving. Patrick's business associates surrounded him, demanding explanations he couldn't give. The Montgomery family relatives retreated like the outgoing tide, distancing themselves from the disaster. Eleanor's voice rose over the chaos. This wedding is over. I'm calling my lawyer. Annulment proceedings start tomorrow. Mother, please. Patrick reached for her. Don't touch me. You are no son of mine until this is sorted out. Valerie collapsed into a chair. The $1,000 mascara painting abstract art on her cheeks. Her bridesmaids had vanished. Rats from a sinking ship. The $100,000 fairy tale had become a nightmare in 12 minutes. Matt appeared at my elbow. Time to go. I walked to the gift table. I placed a single envelope among the wrapped boxes. The $1,000 check I had promised. More than she deserved. Less than she had demanded. At the door, fingers clutched my arm. Valerie, desperate now, ego shattered. Please, let me explain. It's not what it looks like. For the first time in 3 years, her emotion was real, raw, unfiltered by greed. Tomorrow. I removed her hand gently. If you want to talk, call me tomorrow. I left her sobbing amid the wreckage of her plans, while Eleanor's voice rose in the background, every word a lash about Patrick's future. The July heat hit like a slap outside, but cleaner than the atmosphere inside. Matt waited by the valet stand. Feel better? No. I handed him my valet ticket. But I feel finished. July 16th dawned with my phone showing 47 missed calls from Valerie, the same number I had made trying to reach her for 3 years. The poetry was not lost on me. The morning news led with the story. Viral disaster at Montgomery wedding. Someone had live-streamed the entire video reveal. 2 million views and climbing. The comment section was brutal. Valerie had become a meme of the gold digger gone wrong. Eleanor Montgomery's text message arrived at noon. The engagement has been terminated. The Montgomery family has no further connection to your daughter. Do not send money to anyone claiming otherwise. Patrick's family released a statement through their lawyer, distancing themselves from the unfortunate recent events and wishing Miss Carter the best in her future endeavors. Corporate language for exile, Matt called it as I packed up. The video hit 5 million views. News stations wanted interviews. No interviews. This wasn't about fame. What was it about then? I thought for a moment. Education. 2 days passed before Valerie asked to meet. Her text message was different. No manipulation, no sweetness. Just, can we talk, please? July 18th, a simple coffee shop in a quiet neighborhood. Far from the rich neighborhood. Far from anyone who mattered in her former world. She arrived without makeup, wearing jeans and a plain t-shirt. The designer facade had completely crumbled. She looked older, exhausted, defeated in a way that transcended shame. I've lost everything. No preamble, no performance. Patrick is gone. His lawyer sent papers saying I committed fraud by misrepresentation. Did you? Yes. The admission came without hesitation. The apartment is being foreclosed on, the cars. Everything was leveraged against your money. She stared into her coffee, unable to meet my eyes. Everyone has seen the video. I can't go anywhere without being recognized. Someone threw a drink at me yesterday, called me a parasite. I waited. Sometimes silence teaches more than words. I'm sorry. The words came out broken, real. I was so wrong. About everything, about you, about what matters. What do you think matters now? I don't know anymore. I thought it was the money, the status, the right husband. Now, she finally looked up. Mom would be ashamed of who I became. That landed. Isabel would have been horrified, heartbroken. She had raised Valerie better than this. I wanted success so badly I forgot the difference between earning it and stealing it. Tears now, but not the calculated kind. What do you want from me? What do you want from me? Nothing. She seemed surprised by her own answer. I don't deserve anything from you. I just wanted to apologize, really apologize. Not for money or help. Just because it's the right thing to do. For the first time in years, I believed her. 2 days later, I invited her to my office downtown. She drove a borrowed car. The sports car was gone. Walking her through Carter Energy Solutions, showing her the labs, the server rooms, the team of engineers building the future. Her eyes opened to what she had never bothered to understand. You built this. With Matt. With a team. With work. I never asked what you did. I never cared about the actual achievement. Only the money it represented. We stood in my corner office, the city sprawling beneath us. You wanted wealth? Here it is. Built on patents, innovation, 16-hour days. Not manipulation. I don't understand why you're showing me this. I'm offering you a job. Her shock was genuine. What? Entry-level data analyst, $40,000 a year, standard benefits. You'll report to Jimena Castro in analytics. Not me, no special treatment. If you fail, you're fired like anyone else. You're giving me a job? I'm giving you a chance to earn respect. Your own and others. Take it or leave it. I'll take it. No hesitation. When do I start? August 1st. Find an apartment you can afford. No roommates who recognize you from the video. Start over. She moved to a working-class neighborhood, 10 minutes from where I had lived when she called me a failure. The irony was not lost on either of us. Her first day at Carter Energy Solutions was brutal. Everyone knew who she was, what she had done, but she showed up. Day after day, I watched from a distance as she learned systems she had never cared about. She stayed late reading technical manuals, brought lunch from home instead of expensive restaurants. Her first paycheck made her cry. $340 after taxes. Less than she used to spend on shoes, but it was also pride. The first honest money she had earned in years. Patrick sent pathetic emails asking for investment, promising partnerships, offering everything but an apology. I deleted them unread after the first few. Eleanor tried to sue for defamation. My lawyers laughed it off. The truth is an absolute defense. By the end of August, Valerie had earned something akin to respect from her coworkers. Not friendship yet, but the acknowledgement that she was trying, truly trying. August 25th, she invited me to dinner. A simple taco place near the river. Nothing fancy. She insisted on paying with her paycheck. "I understand why you did it," she said as we drank cheap beer and ate excellent carnitas. The video, the humiliation. I needed to see myself clearly. Do you? I see someone who confused price with value, who thought love was a transaction. She managed a small smile. Therapy helps. The company insurance covers it. Do you understand the real lesson? That money means nothing without character. That family isn't about what you can get, but what you give. And that redemption is harder than destruction, but possible. We ate in comfortable silence for a while. There was no forgiveness yet. That would take time. But it was a start. That night, alone in my apartment, I put the family photo back on the shelf. Isabel, young Valerie, and me at the beach, all sunburned and laughing. Before the cancer, before the greed, before the break. Some lessons cost everything to learn. The price of this one had been 3 years of silence, public humiliation, and $1,000. But maybe, just maybe, we had both found something worth more than money. A chance to rebuild what greed had destroyed. Time would tell if the foundations would hold. Engineers know the strongest structures aren't the ones that never break, but the ones rebuilt with knowledge of their failure points. Valerie was learning to be an engineer of her own life now. One honest day at a time. If you enjoyed this story, please like this video. Subscribe to the channel and share your thoughts on this story in the comments. To hear the next story, click the box on the left. Thanks for watching.